Hello and welcome to this quick video on this new camera from RunCam. This is the new RACER, has high sharpness and very low latency. Now this is one of the latest micro cameras from RunCam, and it's starting to get to the point I think where it will be helpful if RunCam also introduce some kind of decision tree, so you could choose from their models that they've already got out there, because this one is very similar to things like the Swift and a couple of other models that they've got, and they all have slightly different features. So it'd be great if they had a way for you to find the camera that you're interested in, but hopefully by watching this video this will help you understand what this one does well. Now going on to the website, just quickly cover the specs. So this is about a £30 camera, 5.5 grams. It's a micro camera, but it's fully enclosed. It has two different versions available, one with the built-in remote control, which is the orange version that I have here, and there's also one that has a joystick based controller that goes in the back, and that's how you access the onboard menu and change the settings that you want. The display ratio of this is 4:3, although you can set it to output 16:9, but it isn't a real 16:9 camera, it just stretches the image. It's a CMOS based camera with the wide dynamic range that you'd expect on all of these newest cameras from RunCam, and also includes the on-screen display, so if you wanted you could run the VBAT wire up to the main battery to get that main battery voltage too. The big differences with this camera, apart from the fact it's in two different versions for the on-screen display, is the high sharpness and very low latency. So this is significantly lower than most of the other RunCams. Now I fly with all the other RunCam cameras and don't have any problems at all, but this is really designed for those of you that want the minimum amount of time between the image going into the camera and it appearing into your goggles. And the testing that I've done here does seem to support that. It does feel like a very, very quick camera indeed. Couple of last comments before I show you what comes in the box. It is 4:3 and widescreen switchable, although it isn't really widescreen. If you actually look at the way the image is, all it does is just stretches that 4:3 image into a 16:9 display. To be honest, most goggles will try and do that by default if they're 16:9 goggles, but it gives you an idea of an extra bit of functionality in here if that isn't something your 16:9 goggles do by default and you want it to happen automatically through the camera. So I'll put a link in the description so you can have a look at the specs. Let me do a quick unboxing now and show you what comes in the box, because RunCam has started to add some extra things in here too. So this is the actual camera itself. 2.1mm lens, very similar to a lot of the other RunCams that we've had a look at. Again, this is the orange version that has the TX and RX, so really designed to be used in conjunction with a flight controller in order to change the settings. And then on the other side, in the bag of bits, you have the various cables, you have the standard metal mount and lots of mounting hardware, but I'm pleased to see that they're also popping in an adapter as well that you can pop the camera in that will make it into the same size as a much larger camera. And that's really nice, because for frames that want a full-size camera still means you can use this smaller camera in that setup with this little adapter. So I'm going to keep this for another project. Now I've already had one of these RACERs. I actually got two, and the other RACER is installed in a slightly unusual place. It's actually at the top of this Rockstar 1/24 scale rock crawler, and it's part of this setup here. I'm going to do another whole video where I talk about how I've made this happen, but let me show you some footage crawling around in the garden from this thing, and hopefully this will give you an idea of what it actually looks like. There is a high degree of sharpness by default in the camera, and it is very, very quick. It does feel very low latency indeed. Now with something like a rock crawler, I'm not really getting the full advantage from that, but hopefully you can see how nice the image looks, how it's handling contrast, and how it's handling the wide dynamic range as well. Exposure is really nice. The thing I'd comment on here is I was actually rolling around on a reasonably dark day, and the camera is making the day look an awful lot brighter. So this camera, just like a lot of the modern RunCams, will actually make the best of a bad situation. The colour is probably not absolutely spot on, but the way it's performing is allowing me to run into very shady areas with this little rock crawler thing, and also into bright sunshine, and the camera is handling it beautifully. So hopefully that's interesting for those of you that have been looking at this camera. Again, it's another nice camera from RunCam. Has a lot of the same specs as many others, but the big differences here are the fact that it has that low latency, and it also has that very high sharpness level as well that you could reduce if you went into the menu. But hopefully from that video you can see it works pretty nicely. But a shout out to RunCam here, please, with all these fantastic cameras that you're bringing out, if you had some kind of decision tree or comparison matrix or recommendations for cameras based on particular use cases, I think that would help pilots figure out which of the many cameras that you guys have on offer is the right choices for them. If you found that video useful or like the content, then please hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you want to go the extra step, you can become a Patreon of the Painless 360 channel and help provide support for what I do here. All the videos created here are put into playlists, so if you're interested in a particular topic, have a look at the playlist, and they all are organised in there to make them easier to use. If you're not sure if there's a video for your particular problem or topic you want to know more about, then add Painless 360 to the Google search term that you're interested in, and that should find the video, article or content about the particular thing that you're interested in having a look at.